Alrighty. The re-sign phase. Mock draft 3 is out. Who cares? Our final bit of player negotiations, though, are up here. Again, we will have a 5th-year option for Paris Johnson Jr. that we will accept. I think we'll accept it. It's a good amount of money. We have $123 million in cap space. I know we have some young offensive linemen, but still, I don't think Paris is someone that we want to lose. So we will accept that 5th-year option for Paris Johnson. Trey McBride's going to be leaving. Johnny Murray went from star dev to normal, so you are definitely gone, sir. Bye-bye. Jalen Thompson, again, he's not a bad stopgap safety, but really we should see who else is out there. Especially, too, we might draft a safety this year. I might come back to him. I'm not sure. Kareem Hunt's gone. Batonio, we're going to let him go. Draymond Jones is one of our better players this year, but again, we're looking for a potential replacement for him in the draft. It's very similar to the safety situation. And given that those guys want multiple-year deals, I'm not sure. From there, I mean, DJ Humphries certainly can let him go. It is mostly filler players that we're dropping. Poona Ford. Yeah, I mean, we can basically drop everybody. Even Jake Elliott or Blake Gillikin. We're going to let everybody go. That way we can check the open market, see what's out there. I mean, if we're going to sign stopgap players, even if it's players that I'm letting go to the open market, we could still bring them back. So that is the plan at the moment as the combine results are in. But again, we're still not worried about the draft yet. Let's take a look at the free agent class. Although before that, one more quick look at the roster. You know what? It doesn't make too much of a difference. We can come back to that. We can come back to it depending on who's out there. $123 million in available cap. And again, that is factoring in the draft picks that we have as well. So we have an absurd amount of cap space right now. A lot of big deals just came up. Let's start off at quarterback. Geno Smith is the gem of the class. Matt Corral has interest in signing here. So does Jimmy G, but no thank you. Even Malik Willis. But yeah, that's just not going to happen. Running back wise, DeAndre Swift, Cam Akers. There are some good running backs out there. Tyler Allgeier, but again, we have our running back. We have our guy. And if I want to sign a veteran to be the second choice option, I can do it later. As it is, we do have a good young secondary running back already on the team. So, fullback-wise, Patrick Ricard's out there again. Ingold, Reggie Gilliam, Kyle Juszczyk. But again, we're not going to spend big money on a fullback. That's just not going to happen. Even something like Dylan Lippett, it looks good. But, I mean, yeah, 73 overall, 22 years old. But I'm not spending money on a big fullback. That's just not a thing. Wideouts, Chris Olave's out there, Jameson Williams, Tyler Lockett would be interested in the veteran deal, but Christian Watson, Michael Thomas as a big-time veteran at this point. Yeah, again, nothing we're going to do wideout-wise. I think we're good. Again, if we draft a wideout, he'll be the 3, which would push Lockett down to the 4. Tight end wise, Trey McBride again has no interest in coming back. There is Greg Dulcich, who is of basically a similar value as Trey McBride. It might not be the worst decision in the world to go after that guy. There's also Cade Otton. Honestly, I think we go after Greg here. He's just kind of a replacement for Trey McBride. I mean, that would take the pressure off of having to draft a tight end. Now, this guy does want term. I'm going to go team friendly. Bring him to 29 as a second choice tight end. Or we'd have to draft somebody else. I think we spend the money. We'll try to lowball him a little bit. See what he thinks. But we have the only offer in right now for Dulcich. On the O-line, Ronnie Stanley, no interest in us. Trent Brown, same thing. DJ Humphries has some interest in coming back, but we do not want him. Left guard, Batonio's there. Of course, he has some interest in coming back, but we're building up the youth options. Center, Ted Karras. Again, no reason to sign anybody on the O-line. Right guard, Alex Kappa. Zion Johnson's out there as well. NCAA legend with Boston College. And right tackle, Jack Conklin. It's the big name. I like that Evan Neal has his glasses on for his picture. On the edge, DeMarcus Lawrence, who does have interest in signing here. He could be the veteran stopgap. We'd have to move him over to the right. Defensive tackle, nobody interesting. Poona Ford could come back. On the right side, Grady Jarrett, Draymond Jones does have interest in coming back. We could go after Lawrence or Draymond, or we just say we're going to draft a defensive end. Linebacker, nobody amazing. I mean, Patrick Jones is out there, but we don't need anybody in that position. Middle linebacker, Jermaine Pratt. We'd have to overspend to get him. He wouldn't be the worst pickup in the world. Nor would Cole Holcomb. And there's Jalen Phillips. I mean, Jalen Phillips would be nice. I'd probably end up having to move someone to the middle. 15 teams are interested in Jalen Phillips. We'd have to give him the sun and the moon. But man, he would be a big upgrade on who we have. And then a corner, Javarius Ward, Gilmore's out there, Teron Johnson, Bradbury. At safety, Jalen Thompson, who is still interested in coming back, as is Grant Delpit, the Del P. And of course, kickers, punter options. Okay. We just have to decide where we want to try to upgrade the team in terms of free agency, draft, or both. You know, fill the gaps in free agency, and then if we get younger players, just roll with the younger players. As Kyler Murray's penalty has dropped, Slater, there certainly wouldn't be much savings. Again, wideouts, we're still stuck with Hollywood and Rondale for now as our big two. The O-line, still got a lot of youth. It's getting better. We do need a right end. We do need another defensive tackle. And we got Malone in the middle, but another linebacker wouldn't be the worst. If not another two, because Ellington dropped. Another corner wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. And then obviously a free safety to play next to Ridley. 2, 5, 13, 19, and 26, by the way, for those draft picks, which is very, very nice. Let's go look one more time at our options here. And we got that one option out to the tight end.
The man was a fanboy.
Shout out to, guess against Landots. Let me know if I'm wrong. Again, we could go DeMarcus Lawrence, or we could bring back Draymond Jones. I guess it depends on what Draymond Jones wants. He only wants a 2-year deal. He was, arguably our best defensive player this year. What does DeMarcus Lawrence want in terms of years? 1 year, big money deal. Honestly, bringing in DeMarcus Lawrence as a veteran isn't the worst idea. Short-term, veteran contracts. It's not the worst idea in the world. So we'll lowball him and see what happens. Defensive tackle, there wasn't anybody major to sign. We can bring in someone like Poona Ford later on. Corner. Honestly, it could be a similar story. We bring in like James Bradbury as a veteran, because developing corners has been pretty spotty for us. Or we try to lowball Teron Johnson. Lowballing Teron Johnson sounds like a half-decent idea. It's not bad. That brings in another safety. Honestly, bringing in Jalen Thompson. Try to lowball him if we can. We do have the top offer for him. We got one more offer. And honestly, I think we spend the money on Jalen Phillips. We normally play it safe with the cash, but he's 27 years old. And that would really help out the linebacker core. If we go with a neutral offer for him. This old Douglas is great in sim. Interesting. Fuck, the Rams have a big offer in for this guy. If we go player friendly, it's a 5-year deal, brings him up to age 32. We'd have to go very player friendly to compete. That would bring him to age 33. Again, we do have the money to spend. Puts us in the driver's seat for Jalen Phillips. So we are targeting Jalen Phillips, DeMarcus Lawrence, Teron Johnson, Jalen Thompson, and Greg Dulcich. Let's go ahead and do that first evaluation period. We're still in for Thompson. Still in for Dulcich. We have landed DeMarcus Lawrence. Got a splash what's going on. We have also landed Teron Johnson. However, Jalen Phillips picked the Rams. We went for him. I can't complain too much. We went for him. So again, we're still in for Thompson and Dulcich. We have landed Lawrence and Johnson as short-term stopgaps. We did not land the linebacker. Jermaine Pratt's off the board. Honestly, we'll be looking at the draft to improve from there. So let's see if we can land Thompson and Dulcich. We have landed the tight end, Greg Dulcich, which is good. However, the Jets are offering Jalen Thompson a shatload of money. And I can't imagine competing with that. For a stopgap player, we're talking like a 5-year deal at 28. $6 million cap hit a year. Would this even give us the top offer? It would only put us in contention. We're going to withdraw our offer from Jalen Thompson. So our free agent signings this year then. Lawrence, Johnson, and Dulcich as, again, stopgaps. Dulcich is signed for a couple years. The other two each signed for 1 year, which I don't think is the worst case scenario for us. But a little bit disappointing. We couldn't land the mega deal for Phillips. Would have been nice. But yeah, if the Jets are going to overpay him, we'll look for a replacement in the draft. That wasn't the type of deal we were trying to keep Thompson for. Good for him securing the bag, you know? Especially after being on a shit team like this. Good for him. Do we have any other head coach hirings? Any other head coach hirings? No, that's it. So it just would have been coaching staff from there. All right. Pro Day results are in, which means very, very soon we will be going into our major bit of scouting to figure out what's going to be going on. And if we can have another dynamite draft, we're going to have to put the work into it. Get the research in there to increase our chances. Well, let's see where the top free agent options landed, since most of them were not with us. And of course, we'll have our private workouts coming up as well. We do have a trade offer for DeMarcus Lawrence. I'm not going to trade anybody right now, by the way. We are going to wait until the draft. So the free agency recap. Let's see. So top 100, Ronnie Stanley signs with the Rams. Jesus, the Rams had a good free agency period. Batonio goes to Atlanta. Ward goes to the Rams. Oh, my God. Olave to Dallas. DeAndre Swift to New Orleans. Jalen Phillips went to the Rams. Cam Akers to Tampa. Trent Brown to Denver. Jameson Williams to the Patriots. Grady Jarrett to the Colts. And, of course, they drop off in terms of overall from there. Tough to say that the Rams didn't win free agency. They spent some big money to keep that team relevant, and I'm sure it will work. As we have our private workouts, it's our last thing to do before we take a look here. So Greg Snyder could be amazing. O-line help isn't the thing we need the most, but man, those guys could be amazing. There's also BJ Lampman, but I can't possibly take another quarterback yet. I can't do it. I know that corner, Khalid Callahan, looks amazing. And we'll look at his numbers in a minute. There's Jerry Harris at running back. Honestly, I have to know how good these O-linemen are. They might be too good to pass up. Jerry Harris is a 1-2 punch, but I don't need a 1-2 punch at running back. But man, if Jerry Harris falls to like the second or third round, you know, you'd have to take him. But at that point, we wouldn't even need the info. George Blackwell as well. A lot of these offensive tackles, man, look amazing. Honestly, again, O-line, it's tough. It's tough. I have to think about need just as much as anything else. Wide receiver, for example, is a huge need. Gregory Forbes. A little bit more info on him wouldn't be the worst. Again, might not be the best draft for wideouts. I was waiting to see if there was maybe a late steal down the board. That does not exist. Could be a couple of good tight ends as well, but again, we can't prioritize it. Defensive line's looking a little bit rough, man. Cassidy Baker. Let's get information on you. Defensive tackle. Let's get information on Teddy Ballard. And let's get information on Steven Marshall. I know he's a 3rd to 4th round projected option, but he looks pretty good. This is going to be a tough draft. Same situation as last time, but if we put in the proper work, preparation, we should be okay. It is going to be a lot of work, though.